out of curiosity, I want to know, what do you do to celebrate? What do you do to celebrate your wins? Like you have a day where you have something big time happen for you. You're
Mm-hmm.
happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like? What does celebration look like for you? Because I don't think we celebrate enough. I don't think we really. At least I speak for
Yes.
myself. Like
I,
there's a lot of stuff that happens, and I'm just like, damn, man. Like I kind
mm-hmm.
of treat. I'm cool about it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Part of the plan, part of the process. And some stuff is like, nah, this big time. Let me pour up a drink or do something. Like, what
Right.
do you do, Dave?
You know what? I haven't done anything or thought of anything, or I don't think I think like I need to go celebrate. I'm just excited.
Mm.
I mean, it's my whole demeanor. Like it's happened, it's done, and it's that sense of accomplishment. That's enough. I mean, I don't
Let,
need to go out and have
well,
a drink or do something significant, but just the
let me let
feeling
me
of
let me rephrase this a different way because that's a good point.
yes,
When you as you were talking, that's not what I meant.
yes,
What do you do to acknowledge the moment? It doesn't have to be like an actual celebration, but do you
right,
have a moment to yourself to
yes,
acknowledge that you just
yes.
did something big?
First, I thank God. I thank God for giving me that. Whatever opportunities He puts in front of me, I appreciate that, and appreciate whatever He gives me to be able to recognize those opportunities. So, I try to start there, right? But I don't. I just tell myself like, "Hey, what's next?" I mean, I'm ready to get on to like, what's the next thing? I was just
Mm.
talking to my brother and my dad, and I'd love to buy 20 to 80 acres and let's start an expat community for people who are thinking like us that it might be time to
Mm-hmm.
find somewhere else to go. So I think for me, it was just like a hurdle. And now it's like when you run if you live 225 or run the mile finally under a certain time, you just want to do it a little better next time. I don't necessarily look at it like, oh, I've made it or I've got here. I just look at it like that's another hurdle I've crossed that I
Yeah,
had on my checklist. So
yeah. I feel that. Lou, what about
yeah.
you, man? What do you do to like if you had something big happen? It doesn't even have to be big. Just something that you've been trying to get accomplished and you finally accomplish it. What do you do to acknowledge that moment?
I was trying to think of it. Damn, what would I say as you were asking him, and I didn't come up with
Yeah,
anything. I
yeah.
come like I was trying to think like, do I do this? Nah, that ain't.
I think
I don't know.
that's
I
probably the
don't
point
know.
because you do
Yeah,
do you feel like you do? I think my problem might be that I don't. I don't know if I do acknowledge it or take time. I do.
I don't
I'm
even
like
feel like
Dave.
I
I
acknowledge.
do when something major happens, especially something that I had on my mind. I do. My first thing is, man, thank God, man. Just
Mhm.
thankful for the blessing. But after that, I don't know if I acknowledge. I think I just move on, like Dave said, to the next thing. But I've
Mhm.
learned that in embracing certain things is okay and it's cool and it's okay to just, like I said, be in that moment and then move on to the next thing. I don't
Yeah.
know.
You know, yes, I agree with both of y'all. But sometimes my mind is even like, well, damn, why it take you so long to do this? Like once you accomplish it,
Mm,
and like you say, Dave, you want to get better at it. You like, okay, I'm here now, and I want to keep moving on. If I ran a 5K, I can run a marathon now. But
Mhm.
also, too, I would be lying if I wouldn't say, like, I guess it's arrogance or whatever. I'll be like, man, that shit wasn't even as hard. Well, it may have been as hard, but damn, I look at it now that I've got it. Is why it take me so long to do this? Like,
Yeah.
you should have been able to do that quicker. So I don't know if
I feel
that's
that.
healthy or not.
It's
I don't know.
unhealthy. I can tell you.
Yeah.
Let me because here's what you have to release.
Hmm.
Oh, God's gonna give you it on His time. Your plans are, He laughs at our plans. Like we make
Right.
plans and we feel like this is supposed to happen or that is supposed to happen, and we build these walls of disappointment when we don't meet these goals. When you just gotta,
We expect to do them.
yes, you gotta be
Yeah.
ready. I think the older I get, the more I realize is, I ask God put what is for me in front of me, right, and allow me to see it. And at the end of the day, that's what starts to happen, right? He puts what's
Hmm.
for me in front of me, and I quit setting a lot of my own high expectations of what I should be or shouldn't be, because it only leads to disappointment a lot of times.
True.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. And it's timely because me and Spike were talking on the phone Monday.
Hmm.
And I was just talking about the idea of continual growth, like
Mm-hmm.
specifically in this space,
Mm-hmm.
in this podcast space, and the idea of continual growth and not wanting to plateau, right? Not wanting because things change so rapidly. as far as just how people consume product, how you put it out there, what's moving the algorithm, so on and so forth. It's always changing. You got to be on top of it. And sometimes when you just have a passion for having these type of conversations, and we've spoken on this plenty of times, those small things just become tedious and they feel unnecessary. Even though you know it's important for the business, it's like, listen, Spike Lou said it before perfectly. Like I came in here to have these type of conversations. I didn't come in here to like be a content creator or do all these other things. I just want to have the talks and let it get to who it gets to. But obviously the creative side and wanting to stay in this space, you got to continue to build and grow with it. And it was one of those weeks or 2 weeks where I'm just like, damn, man, like just feeling like you made it to a point and then the game changes. And now it's like, all right, man, now I got to figure this new thing out. It's part exciting and it's also part exhausting. You know what I mean? But I've been rewiring my brain and reprogramming how I speak to myself and how I view it. And what you just said was like confirmation of what I've been thinking, as far as it's like, yo, this ain't like what's for you ain't gonna miss you. And it's always gonna happen on God's time and not yours. So you just got to keep being and be ready for it when it does happen.
Right.
Because everything I feel like in my life, it's always the time when I'm ready to like pack it up when the next breakthrough comes in, or whatever motivation that it is that keeps me going for the next 6, 8, 12 months comes through. So there's always these little jolts that happen where it's like, all right, then that was the sign that I need that I'm on the right path. And then you kind of get reinvigorated and go from there. Yeah. So yeah, you hear the voices. We back at it again. Book 2, Chapter 63, another week in the books. I'm your host, Rich, joined by the legend Spike Lou. We are not alone. We have the one, the only, consistent bookworm.
Love that shirt.
The OG. Yeah, love the shirt, man. If you watch it on YouTube.
Good quality.
Very good quality. Love the shirt, man. Hey, if you're out there, you need to get one if you don't have one. I'm just telling you.
Absolutely. Link is in the bio on Instagram at Another Week in the Books. But we have Dave with us, the OG of the pod, the wise voice of the pod. Dave, how you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm feeling great. Been listening to you guys the last couple of weeks, and your solo. I was talking to Spike about that. Triggered a thought that I wanted to see us kind of toss around is our fatherly experience, right? We all have a very different. Unfortunately, yours is no longer here. So you had it, and it's no longer here. Mine has been a heavy hand in my life. I mean, through my whole life. And Spike, it didn't have much of his father. So I got to thinking about when I was listening to your conversation, my own relationship with my dad. And, and even tonight, I did my weekly dinner with him. And then I got to thinking about Spike and his relationship and listening and learning yours in real time. It just really sparked a lot of conversation that I think is healthy. Then maybe, others are dealing with fatherly issues, whether it be I lost my father wasn't there, or I had him and, it was something to deal with, right? It's like each way is a little different to see it. So
I got
since you called me and we was talking about that, I've been thinking about that. I think this is going to be a really good conversation. I think a lot of people can take away a lot of things from having these different perspectives and us talking about it. I don't think that's talked about a lot, but I've been excited to have this since me and you talked 2 weeks ago. We're going to do the housekeeping before y'all get that full conversation there. I'll throw it back to you, Rich, in the sense.
Got a couple comments. Yeah, just got a couple comments I want to make sure we read. And my apologies for all you out there listening. It wasn't until yesterday. So when I say yesterday, this is Tuesday because we record on Wednesdays. I know the episode releases on Friday. But it was Tuesday evening when I realized that the episode with Nick was not up on YouTube. I had no idea. I uploaded it, and then I think I was traveling or doing something, and Luke told me, I'm like, that ain't true. I remember putting it up, the caption and everything, and then I go back and I see that it uploaded has failed. So it is officially up now. It's up on YouTube. It is available. Episode with Nick, if you listen to him on YouTube and not audio, really good conversation, almost 2 hours. So it's almost like a story. Double. Go ahead.
Behind that, it's a funny story behind it too.
Yeah. So it's like a bonus. It's like a bonus week for y'all. So if you're a YouTube viewer, you're gonna get 2 episodes this week. But what's the story?
It reminded me when I texted you that it wasn't up there. because somebody told me yesterday when I was doing Dead End Live, it was like, hey, I want to see the episode with Nick, and I don't want to have to look at it. That's something they said. They didn't want to have to look at it and sitting on ads. So I text you, but I immediately thought about the text I sent you last week when someone reached out to me, and they were like, hey, where's the first episode with Isaiah on it? School. And y'all make sure y'all go check that out. It's one of our better episodes. It was episode what, 2, 3?
Chapter 2.
Book 2?
Chapter 2. Yeah.
Chapter 2 of book 2.
Chapter 2, yeah.
This person was like, where's the first episode? I see the other 2 with school, but I don't see the second one. I mean, I don't see the first one. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I think it might just be 2 of them. And then they were like, well, nah, because on this first one that I'm looking at right here, it's saying that this is a continuous conversation that y'all had one before that. So I was like, all right, let me check with Rich and see where it's at. Whole time I never looked. I'm just going off what this person said.
This is the important part about this story, y'all.
The important part is I never checked to see was it there, or I did no due diligence. I just text Rich. And I was like, hey, this episode was cool. Didn't we do 3 of them? And he was like, no, at first. He was like, it was 2.
Yeah.
Right. And then I was like, okay, cool. That's what I thought. So I texted the person. I was like, no, it's only 2 of them. So they kept watching it, and they was like, no, it got to be another episode because y'all referencing something else. It's me still doing no due diligence. I text Rich back, and I'm telling this person, all right, man, let me check with Rich. Let me see. And I text Rich again, and I'm like, nah, man, I think it's 3 episodes, man. I'm looking for school first episode, and I don't see it. It's not in here anywhere. And Rich was like, yeah, you're right. It was 3, and it got to be there. And I was like, no, I don't think it's there. The whole time I've never checked. I'm having this conversation between these 2, going off what they said, and then telling Rich this. And it was so funny because Rich was like, man, what's going on? This, I was like, you don't do shit like this. Something seems off. So I had to go and let him know that I'd never checked it all, but it made me think about that when I said that to you today.
Listen, let me tell y'all something out there. Me and Spike Lou reached another level of our friendship, brotherhood, relationship in that moment. Because now we reached the bullshit section of the friendship. Now Lou hit me with bullshit, and I got to decide how I want to react to this. Because the thing that would have saved all of it, if actually the funniest part about it to me, now that I look back on it, is that Spike Lou was on some like, yeah, man, he's speaking in first person, like he's the one looking for it. Had he said like, yo, somebody hit me up and they trying to find this episode, it would have made more sense. But he's sitting there, he's saying things so matter of factly, like, nah, the episode ain't up. It ain't up there. Because I'm like, how many episodes we do? I said 2. And he's like, nah, I think it was 3. I'm like, you're right, it was 3. Well, the episodes ain't up there. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, did they take the episodes off YouTube? So I immediately go to YouTube. It's right there. And what makes things worse, y'all, he asked me which one it was, and I told him Chapter 2. I told him which one was the first episode. And then that's what made me confused, too. I'm like, what's going on? So I go to YouTube, it's there. I go to Spotify, it's there. I go to Apple Music, it's there. Apple Podcasts. Me, and I know Spike Lou could appreciate this because he would have done the same thing. Me being the dickhead that I am, I sent him all 3 links. Like, look how easy this was to confirm that this episode was here. And then he finally was like, oh, yeah, I ain't even look, bro. I was trying to find it for someone else. And I'm like, hey, bro, you want some trash. That was funny, though. That was funny in real time, man. I'm hilarious.
That was funny.
Yeah. And like the next day, I remember like just randomly hitting them up. Like, I'm still laughing at this shit.
Yeah.
Like he sends like a message from someone else just explaining it. It was hilarious, man. But shout out to that moment.
Yeah, that was funny.
Either way, I say all that to say, the episode is now up on YouTube. Chapter 62 with Nick. We appreciate Nick for stopping by as always. Got a couple of comments from the solo episode. Since Nick's episode it hasn't been up long enough to get comments yet. But Clee Cloud 7414 wishing Mo a very happy birthday. I think that was the episode when it was past Mo's birthday. It was a solo joint. So happy birthday belated to Mo. And then Golden Child 1123. We always appreciate you writing in. Grief
That's
is one
what
of
it
the
was.
hardest. Is that who it was? Yeah, that's funny. Grief is one of the hardest things to deal with. People will often tell you that it gets easier or better with time, but I think some days are just better than others. I lost both of my brothers 3 years apart. Sometimes I can laugh, joke, and reminisce, and other times I tear up just thinking about them. The great memories always help. Definitely appreciate that. You know, it's and this is kind of weave into the conversation. I know you got one more thing you want to announce, Spike Lou, so I won't step into too much. Actually, you know what? Go into it. I'll address that comment, and that will kind of be a perfect segue into the convo. But yeah, housekeeping.
Yeah, well, it's especially special to kick off a new thing that we're doing every first Friday, to have my brother David on here. And it's just something that a lot of people want to hear more from him, want him to be part of the conversation, want his perspective. So every first Friday, he's going to be on, he's going to talk, he's going to bring what he wants to bring to the table. We'll have questions for him in the sense of everything that's going on, but it's just something that we want to be more consistent in, and having him a full-time, well, you know, once a month member and coming on first Friday. So I'm really excited about it. I love talking to him. I think a lot of people will be excited about it based off the feedback that I received. We're good to have you. Good to have you, my brother. This is the first time that I've had, I want to let you know this. It's the first time I've had a relationship like this. Like
Really?
a big brother relationship to me. Like I was thinking about it the other day. I've never in my life like that. And then probably get into the conversation that we've had, but like Dave, you kind of know, there are no men in my family. I don't have like, I'm not close with any uncles. I don't have no really like big cousins. I don't have a brother. Like it was me and my homeboy. So like, and that was kind of a lateral thing. But to having like me and Dave talk once a week for an hour, maybe 2 hours on the phone, and Rich, you know why? Like me and Rich talk more now too, but it ain't something that I usually do, and I appreciate these conversations. So I was thinking about that. I was like, this is the first relationship that I've ever had like this really in my life, where I'm just talking to someone who has the experience, who has my best interests in mind. I have his best interests in mind, and we just get to talk, and I get to hear someone who's been there, who's done that, who can give advice, and it's refreshing, man. And I'm excited about having it, and I appreciate it. And I wanted to give you your flowers and let you know, my brother.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I echo Spike Lou's sentiments. I can't tell you how excited I am to have you on. You know, the solo episode, getting back to the comment and kind of get into the conversation, because me and Spike were on the phone the other day, and he had even texted me a while ago about the idea of this episode, but I never really asked the origin of it. I know it was just kind of triggered from the solo episode that I had. So I'm going to hand it over to you in order to kind of start it and lead it. But I definitely appreciate the text message that you sent me in regard to that episode. It definitely meant a lot. And going back to, you know, Golden Child in regard to the comment that she had, it's just about how every day is different, how it gets easier. The great memories always help. It's interesting, man. It's a shitty club to be a part of. And you don't know it until it happens, and then you really feel for everyone, and you understand. It's a language that only you can speak if you know that experience. So when she says things like, "Some days I can laugh and joke, and other days I want to bring a tear to your eye," that's a real feeling that I never experienced until that happened. And there's no real way to define it until it kind of happens, and everybody's different. But I want to know more about your experience when you listened to that episode, and what your thought process was as to how we got here today on today's chapter.
Yeah, absolutely. You were kind of laying out, you know, your relationship with him, and then when it was gone, you know, suddenly it was gone, and then kind of that feeling of it being gone for a while and going through that, really having to deal with that, really made me dig into how I thought about my father, right? Like what my relationship in the roller coaster that it is, and he's been in my life as heavy as probably any father probably could be. I mean, he's, you know, Joe Jackson type shit, you know. And I don't mean abuse. He didn't beat me. I'm not, but you know, just
you mean the same personality.
Yeah, very heavy personality. And I was a child when I started working, right? So, you know, I'm dealing with this man who has a very heavy personality, and he's very demanding and very much a perfectionist and very much liking things a certain way, and I'm in real time trying to figure out how to manage this, and and remembering how as a child I just hated it. I mean, there's no other way around it. And I remember just really not liking my father, like because I didn't feel like I got to do the things I wanted to do as a child. In a lot of situations, I had to go work, and then how that evolved over time through when I had children, uh, um, and now understanding how tough that role is, like being a father. Like it's, you can't let your children know when things are bad. You can't let them know when you're going through it. You got to be dad every day with that same energy, and no matter what is going on, life could be crumbling around you, but you still got to walk in and make sure they all right. And I understood how powerful that is and what he did, to get through what he was going through. Being a young businessman, getting a brand new contract with doing concerts and catering, and how that changed his business and his trajectory. And then my youngest sister being born, and she's 10 years younger than me, and that was right the era when he kind of took us with him, me and my brother Patrick, and I always say he never gave us back, right? That was like my last time with my mom, and so it was a different thing. So and now I don't work for him, and and we're much more like friends than we ever been, right? And we never had a friendship. It was always a work father relationship, right? I was his employee and his son, and it was a very interesting relationship, and because doing well and profit and all of those things played a role. You just couldn't you couldn't just goof off and be his son. You had to really make it happen as well, and he was very serious about that because his dad was very serious about that. So he comes from that. So, and then getting to know Spike now, and and that transition in our life from, like I said, we've been knowing each other for 20 years, and we've been talking for 2 or 3. Really, yeah. I mean, and he was always there. And Spike, I don't know if he can just hang in a room for some kind of way and be there, but not there. And if you know him, I'm sure you know what I mean by that, right? And for 15, 17 years, I saw him, I knew him, I knew who he was, but we just never managed to connect, even though we were around each other quite a bit during that time. And and we've done that, and I've really enjoyed getting to knowing him, and now even being a part of this. And I'm, like I said to you, I'm really now hearing your story and getting to know you a little bit more every time we talk. I'm getting to enjoy that same experience with you, Rich, getting to know you. So I just want people out there. This is about exploring your relationship with your father and kind of understanding how complicated that can be. Yet, once you become a father or become an adult, you kind of understand sometimes it's not always as easy as you thought it would be, or as you thought it could be, that they had to deal with some stuff. And if they, was always there, which my father was, never a moment he was not there, right?
Yeah.
Never a moment I was not taken care of. Never a moment I wanted for anything. And you have to, you can't put that into perspective until you become a father. It's really hard. And, so I'm a father of 4, right? Yeah. And what's crazy is my youngest child is 31. And I mean, I got a call last week. I'm not going to say which kid, but it was a $2,600 call. Like, and, so it doesn't stop. It's always continuing. It's always growing.
And all your kids grown.
Yeah, my youngest.
You say youngest 31. So
31, twins, 31, right? And
yep.
And so you realize the role never stops and it never ends. And and even for me, there have been times in my adult life where I had nowhere else to go but my dad. I need you right now. And he was always there. You know.
Yeah. I got a question for you real quick. Just from because I think we all can, well, from a parent standpoint, not necessarily as dad, but from a parent standpoint, I think we all can relate to getting to a certain point in life and figuring out, they were figuring this out in real time. They didn't know what they were doing.
Right.
And having a certain
Facts.
appreciation for it when you get older. You might not understand when you're younger, but when you get older, you're like, damn, I look at myself now and I'm like, the idea of having kids is just crazy to me. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you said something interesting about not working for him, and y'all are more like friends, you know, since that time than ever. So what would you say was the more prominent moment, when you became a father or when you stopped working for him, as far as you and your father's relationship, as far as that understanding and maybe the friendship aspect of it?
The first time it happened was, I can tell you, we were probably on vacation somewhere together. And the bill hit the table and I grabbed it.
Did you do this deliberately? Like you did this on purpose?
I intentionally was like, he's not going to take care of me this vacation, right? He's not going to be my dad. We're going to be peers. We're going to, you know, I'm going to take care, or I'm going to take care of him, make sure he is, you know. And so, you know, I was picking up the tabs here, there, everywhere we were going. And it just kind of broke our ice, and he just started talking to me like a regular dude for the first time. And I think he saw me as a man for the first time, like a true, fully man.
Can I ask, how old were you when this
get it? I was just gonna say real quick for context, get it understood, Rich. His dad, like, he the Tony Soprano type when you're talking about the check. Like, if we out to eat, the check coming to me. That's like that's his dad. Like, it ain't like, why would you even think that somebody else is gonna pay? I'm paying for this, and like that's his dad.
You eat, I pay.
Right. I mean, he just has always been the head,
him,
right?
Just, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And he don't shy away. Like
it ain't we splitting the check or who taking it. Give me the bill, bro. Like,
no matter what
if
it
you
is.
want if you want to give me something on it, that's fine. But like, give me the check and I'm gonna take care of it. Let's get out of here.
Right.
Okay. So, how old were you when this happened?
50. Yes.
Man, how did that make you feel at 50? Did you feel like there was an inner child in you that was like, damn, this is pretty cool? Like, how did you process that? Because,
well, I think he realized at that moment that I no longer needed him. I had fully found whatever success I had started reaching and searching for outside of him. Right. And because, interesting enough, the business that I'm in now, I mean, this is how God works too. There was a moment right before I was about to start this project, literally a month or 2 months. My dad got COVID. And he called me. He was like desperate. He was like, I need you to come help me. Like, I can't do it. So I need you to come work at the restaurant. And I'm like, what the? You know, what? I mean, I got shit going on. You know, I can't just drop everything.
Funny. My mama had the same call to me. She's like, I ain't trying to go up there and work.
Yeah, right. So we were in that same space, I'm sure. Right. And so I did. I went. I'm there every day. I'm working my ass off. Man, it's a grind. Right. And, you know, he starts to come around a couple of months and he's now like, hey, do you just want to just stay here? Like, you know, just be, you cool? Like, you know, and I was like, dude, I got a project I'm about to start. I can't, right? Like, I got to do this project. And I think that was the moment, he started to realize, okay, like,
you got motion.
Yeah. You figured it out, whatever it is you're trying to do. And, you know, and then I was just, fast forward, I'm 58 now, 8 years later, I was just talking to Spike. I mean, literally since April, since the weather's broken, I've played golf on average of 5 times a week.
I know, Spike Lou, weren't you just talking about you ain't playing enough golf?
I ain't played enough, man. That's what made me say that on Instagram. I talked to him. He played 7 days. I ain't got to get out there once, just having stuff going on. But I'm trying to get out there this weekend.
Yeah. But that's, I've set the life I finally, like, that is the life I always look for. Like, as a kid, I always looked around in my business, in my dad's business, and my granddad's business. And I'm like, why are we the hardest working people here? Like, what is going on, right?
Yeah.
And and I used to always say that to somebody. I said, then why don't we set this up where we get other people to do all this hard work and we don't, right? And I was like, I'd rather make a little bit less money and have more time to develop other things than to be the one that has to make sure everything happens. And that's just not the school he came from. And I realized that was a fight that I was never going to win with him. And now 8 years later, I have my business, and I go in most days 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour in the morning, and then head to the golf course.
That's the
Tell
life,
him what
man.
you
That's
said.
That's the life
You
we
said-
all
Yeah.
shooting for.
And then he calls me.
He said,
So he calls me while I'm on the course, right? In the middle of the day, he's like, starts just, he just starts talking. He doesn't like, are you busy? None of that. Just goes right into whatever he wants to start saying. And I'm like, Dad, I'm playing golf. He's like completely like, what? I'm like, I'm on the golf course. I'll call you back, right? You on the golf course? You ain't got to work today? I said, yeah, I worked. I said, but I don't work like you. I said, I don't set mine up like that. You set yours up like that. Oh, okay. Well, shit. Okay, then call me back. Then I said, okay, I'll call you back. Right? Then he calls me back like 10 minutes later. And I'm like, Daddy, I'm on the golf course. Like, please, I'll call you back. I can't talk and play golf. It's impossible to do both. So, he never said his life. He doesn't have any hobbies. He doesn't do anything but work.
He
That's
still
all
work
wants
to
to
this
do.
day.
Yeah.
To this day, he'll go to work.
Mm-hmm.
But also, too, what you told him, and me and you were talking about, David, an astute observation by you was like, well, we're doing all this hard work. I go to McDonald's. I don't see the dude who started McDonald's in there.
Yeah, Ray Kroc's not in there.
I don't know if everybody, Ray Kroc not in McDonald's, and
right.
I don't know if everybody know what Shoney's is, but it's like it was
like a buffet,
one of the early dining. Yeah, that. He was from Nashville, right, Dave?
Right. Yeah, Ray Danner, friends of my dad. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew Ray Danner very well, and Ray Danner was never.
And
you said
you would tell.
Yes.
You said you would tell your dad, like, I go in Shoney's, I don't see Ray in there.
Right.
Like, why we gotta be in here doing this?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was interesting.
But I mean,
his answer to it would be,
I mean, the culture. I get it. Now that I'm outside of it, I get it because he came from a culture of supremacy, right? I mean, they write.
I gotta be here. I gotta do this.
Right. This is how it works. Like, you don't have that kind of freedom to do those types of things. That was a white thing, not a African American thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you want this business to work, you got to make sure it works every day, all day long. And I'm like, no, there's a such thing as systems. You can put systems together and get people to do what you need them to do, as long as they understand the system.
Facts. And then if they don't perform within the system, I
You
can
remove
find somebody else that does. Yeah.
Yes, you remove them. Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, and I kind of asked this question. I told you I didn't want to step on it too much on the phone, but I asked this question to you earlier this week, Spike. You are an established, figured it out type of brother, right? Like, I don't think anybody would ever meet you and say, like, who raised this dude? Like, you know what I mean? You like one of the people, you wouldn't come off as somebody who didn't grow up without proper guidance and parenting. But it makes me curious. With that being said, do you ever think about how much more buttoned up you'd be if you did have that big brother, father figure in your life? Does that ever cross your mind, or do you not think about it, or are you so used to it just being the way life is that it is, it is what it is?
I think I've convinced myself that I'm used to it. Yeah. I think that's like just something that I've always just put in the back of my head. It's like, I mean, I'm not having a big brother because I don't have no other, like, my mom didn't have no other kids. I don't have didn't have a relationship with my dad. Like, you can't change any of the things as far as your family or whatever it may be. So I've always kind of processed it like, I mean, this is what it is. Like, you got to figure it out. You got peers, not necessarily anybody that could, and I know you guys know, which is why I'm excited to have this conversation. Peers aren't the same as having someone over you that you can feel like you can depend on. I've never experienced that. And it made me think a little bit when you and me were talking, Rich, and when me and you were talking, Dave. You said one of the best feelings in the world is your father telling you, "I'm proud of you." That you said that's top feelings in the world. Now I've had that conversation with my dad, and I've heard those words, but it don't ring out the same because of what you said, Rich. Like I've already put it in my head that I mean, it is what it is. Like I love all of my friends that I grew up with that we went through stuff with, like that are peers to me, but I don't look up to any of them. I've never had anyone to like look up to. So it's always to your point, Rich, when you say, well, somebody say, well, who raised this dude? I respected the hell out of my mom. And I wanted to make sure that I always made her proud because she always was there for me. There's never been a point in my life where she ain't been there for me. Like she may not have the time for it, but I ain't never want for anything when it comes to my mom. She make sure that it happened. So in turn, when you say, well, what makes you present yourself like that? It's a lot of it is rooted in that, Rich. But also too, I wonder what it would be like had I had someone. I feel like I would be more disciplined. I would be more because she wasn't there to be able to discipline me. When you have a father, I'm sure both of you guys know, you have a big brother or whatever it may be, you have someone being like, hey, bro, it don't work like this out here. I didn't experience it. And like, you got to do this, you got to do these things. Don't expect the expectations are nothing without the work. So I do often think, Rich, to answer your question, like, how much more disciplined would I be if I had someone over me telling me that I respected, that was there every day, like you said, David, which is important? How much different would I be had I had those things? I didn't have any male figure in my life that I had to take serious ever in my life. And that's affected me in the sense of like, I love all the relationships, friendships that I have, but I'm also a person who like, I don't put, my ex used to tell me this, she'd say this a lot. I don't put a lot of trust in men because a man has never been around for me and made things happen. My family is full of women. My grandmother was there for me. My cousin, which is a female, was there for me. My mom was there for me. Like a man had just never been there for me in the sense of, I like you talked about that $2,600 call, David. The last person on my list would be my dad. And that ain't not a disrespect. That ain't not a resentment. I just don't even, that don't even process to me because I've never done that before in my life. I've never expected a man to be like, I'm here for you, bro. Like, I got you. If you this or you that, like whatever it may be, the expectation has never been there from another man for me because I've never had it. That's why I hold black women in such high regard because they've always been there for me. Bad, you fucked up, whatever it may be, it wasn't I left you hanging. And I've always had an I left you hanging feel from black men, and it probably rooted in not having a dad.
When did you? Well, do you feel like you have a relationship with your dad like now? How often do y'all speak?
We're cool. We talked. I spoke to him. The last time I spoke to him was the women's Final Four. We was talking about the women's Final Four game.
Okay,
and we talk on the phone. Like there's no resentment. It's just I've already my in a way my mind is already set up as to you're over here in this box, and I don't know how that sounds, but like you said, depending on him or expectations from him, anything like that's floated. However, we're cool. We talk, like me and him talk on the phone for just as long as Dave and I talk, or just as long as you and I talk, Rich. But there is zero expectation. And I think that has held throughout my life as far as just from I have zero expectation from other men. And that holds true with him, even though we talk, even though there is no resentment. I wouldn't ask him for anything. I wouldn't expect anything from him. It's just a good relationship because, again, my mom never presented him in the light as to he's a bad dude. Don't fuck with him, this, that, and the third. I always heard, because people in Nashville knew him, I've always heard good things about it. Oh, you Louis' son? Oh, like I've always seen that around the city. So he's never been presented in a bad light to me, which probably makes it easy to have a relationship with him. And he and I talk, and he tells me about stuff growing up, how he grew up and things like that. And it's funny. We laugh. We don't talk a lot, at least once a month. We at least try to get on the phone. But again, to answer your question, I don't have any resentment. I don't look at him in any way as like you left me, this, that, and the third. Like I've never thought that way. I just
Well,
always process it as, okay, this is what it is.
Not even that. This might sound like an odd question, but do you look at him as dad? Or because
As
he wasn't around,
you contributed, as in you contributed into my birth, yes. But
yeah,
not like
so
I ain't never looked at no one as dad. Like, man, I could go to this person and this they gonna understand. I could, but be clear, like he and our relationship was built on, and I told the story on this podcast when I had a wreck and I didn't want to call my mom because I was so embarrassed, and I called him, and that was the first thought to have. So it is a conversation. It feels like dad then, or at least someone who's going to listen to me and not judge me. Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know what dad feels like. I don't know what that feels like to call a man and be like, I need $2,600. Like, I don't know what that feels like.
Or
that's a call that I would make
like
to my mom.
Yeah,
or advice. And that's why I spoke to when we introduced Dave, the relationship that we have. Like, I thought of this mid-conversation when we were talking like a week ago. And I was like, I've never had a relationship like this. Someone who's older than me. And to Dave's point, we've known each other for 20 years. We've gone on vacation together for weeks, like a week. Like we've been on cruises together. But I think this is the perfect age gap for us to connect. Like he's 15 years, I think, older than me from what he just said. So this is the perfect age gap now where he is, where I am, where I want to be, where he's going. It all lines up now. It didn't line up at any other time in our relationship, but now it's perfect.
Got you. It's I asked that question because it makes me think about, because I grew up. Like, not only did I have a dad, but I was in the house with pops. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of people, they have their dad around, but maybe there's a different living situation, whatever the case is. But I grew up in the house with pops, and my dads are interesting, especially my dad, just because like that's dad. Like, it's a different tone. There's a different expectation. There's just a different life lessons that similar to what you just said, Spike. I don't know the other way either. Like, I don't know what it's like not to have one. So I don't know what my life would be like. I can imagine what it would be like if I didn't have it, but I'm thankful every day that I did because it instilled so much in me from such an early age, which is a positive. The downside, I won't even say downside, but the one thing I think about constantly as I look back is there's this need or this feel of, I don't want to say approval, but a lot of the things you do, you want to make sure it's satisfactory, right? So it's not a lot. Some of your living in those early years isn't necessarily for you. You're making decisions based on like, all right, not even like, what would my parents think? What would my pops think? What would my pops say? And I always think about that. And really what I thought about as I got older was I wish that I took more time to understand him as a man versus my dad. Because then you get so much more. And it started happening towards the end of his life, like just conversations we would have. And that's why it was so, I guess, stunning or shocking, or it was so heavy, not just from the overall feeling of losing a parent, but I felt like we were just kind of getting started, and there were so many conversations that were left on the table, right? So many conversations about who he was as a man and what it was like for him growing up. My grandmother, his mom, had him when she was 16, so she was a kid raising him. So he would tell me like their relationship was more like siblings versus mother and son. And just how that kind of impacted him. And when you hear information like that and you think about things, it's like, oh, that makes perfect sense. That's why he's always so like, I don't want to say disciplinarian, but very like organized, very strict. Like things are going to be a certain way. When you think about these things, like, damn, man, I wish I took the time. That's why when I said in that post or I said in the episode, one of my favorite things is hearing people talk about him as the man he was. Not like, oh, he was a great dad, he was great this. Like, nah, this is who he was. This was his character. This is the things he used to do around the city. This is what he was known for, yada, yada, yada. And it just makes you proud. And I'm like, man, I wish I could have like tapped into that more as a son and asked more of those questions and had that. We had a great relationship and we would talk about a ton of different things. He never got to see the podcast part of me. And that's one thing I think about all the time. Like, damn, man, like I don't know if we talk about how important it is to hear those words as we talked about earlier. Like, I'm proud of you from another man. Like men statistically appreciate compliments more because we don't get as many of them. Like, I was literally just reading that stat today. Like, so a compliment, like amongst peers, amongst older to younger, like I can tell, like when I talk to one of my boys, like, hey man, I'm proud of all the stuff you're doing, especially when it's a random, just, hey, I was thinking about this. I see you out here grinding. I see you working. I'm proud of you, bro. Keep going. You can feel that appreciation when they hear that, because they might have been grinding for however long and nobody's ever really paid attention. Or even if they did pay attention, they didn't take the time to say, hey, I see you. Keep going, man. I'm proud of you. And having that was something that, you know, I felt like Superman. Like, I couldn't do, there's nothing I couldn't do. But there's also things that's like, damn, with that shadow over you, and I'm a junior, you know, I carry his name. So with that shadow over you, it's like, all right, man, like, I think I was afraid to fuck up. I talked to my mom about this, like maybe last year. Like, I think me fucking up was a big deal to me because I felt like I was disappointing my pops. And I wish I had more of a, it wasn't until I had my niece, and Dave, you know this because you actually have kids. When my niece was born last March, that was the first time in my life where I felt unconditional love. Like, there's nothing this little girl can do ever in her entire life that's going to make me, like, not love her, turn her back. I never experienced that ever before in my life. Like, just literally, I just met you 30 seconds ago, and I lay it on the line for you. When I felt that, I understood what my parents felt about me. So all the things I was, like, embarrassed or shy to talk about or bring to them, the real conversations that really could have helped me, because I'm like, nah, man, they're going to think I fucked up or they're going to think I'm disappointed. Realizing, like, there's nothing I could have ever done to disappoint them or, like, make them upset and angry. And those are the type of things that I'm like, damn, I wish I'd have known that earlier. But, yeah, man, it's a up and down type of, like, prove it. There's also this bravado. I remember a time when I was younger and you kind of get to that point. I remember my pops looking at me, what's up? Like, what you want to do? Like, it was one of them moments. And it's like that, you can't really explain that feeling, but it's just that energy, right? You start feeling yourself. You get older, and it just is what it is. And he didn't have his dad, right? Like, his dad was around, but they didn't have a relationship. So I understand, like, that made him, I think, even a better dad, because he was, you know, a lot of people like, hey, I'm not gonna do what my dad did to me. I'm gonna be around for my kids, yada yada yada. And I also think that made him, you know, one thing he told me growing up, and it's probably why I still have the same friends. He told me, man, keep good people around you. Like, all the friends that he went to school with, like high school and stuff, man, they got into some shit. And, like, he realized, man, I can't be a part of this crowd if I want to be the person that I want to be. And that's one of the things he instilled with me. That's why I'm always very careful about, like, all right, who am I cool with? And the relationships I have, I foster them, I keep them going. And I know growing up, he would always, like, one of his biggest things was when one of my boys was just stop by or something like that. Cause, like, damn, man, like, it's good to see y'all just still here and still together and still locked in. So it's a ton of great memories with my pops. And there's always a ton of stuff like, I'm like, damn, I can't believe I don't have this opportunity anymore. But I lean on the times that I had versus the times that I don't, because, you know, it was a wonderful 33 years, especially like 33. Like, Dave, you mentioned you were 50, and I'm like, damn, man, I wish I could have got to that point where it was like grown man. But, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's, you know, when you talk about those moments, I remember you jarred a memory. I was a teenager, and, you know, I'm starting to feel my manhood. And we were playing basketball, and I was starting to, you know, get at him a little bit. And so, you know, and I started talking crap to him. And, man, all of a sudden, I don't know what I turned on at him. So he just started bodying me, man. Elbow, I caught balls. I mean, he just treated me like, oh, you're a man. He's just like, I'm not going to take it easy on you, man. You getting the full works. And I was like, man, busting my mouth open, blood. He's like, no, get up. No, I'm spitting blood out. I'm like, dude, what's going on? I was like, okay. I realized do not poke the bear if you ain't ready to go. I mean, that was the lesson I remember learning. I'm like, dude.
That's it's funny because I think about, you talk about lessons and things like that. I remember one of the most important lessons I got. I don't know if I told it. If I did tell this story, it was on book 1. It definitely wasn't since I've been on here in book 2. But I remember junior year of high school. So I played football growing up, and I was pretty good at football. In my junior year of high school, I was injured in
What
preseason.
position did you play?
Linebacker. So I injured. I got rolled. My ankle got rolled into. I had a high ankle sprain in a scrimmage before the season started. So I missed the first three. I missed like the second preseason game or whatever you call it, and I missed the first 3 weeks of the season. I couldn't practice, couldn't do nothing, right? So when I come back and I'm getting ready to come back, instead of being on varsity, I'm on JV, which I'm like, all right, then it is what it is. But mind you, in high school, when you were junior, I'm a junior, mind you, your boy is up on varsity. You with the sophomores and all that. That was unusual for me because I was always like a team captain, just kind of on it. But it made sense. I ain't played yet. All right, cool. Let me kind of get my win and stuff like that. So I come back, first game, and I kill. Right. And it's funny because I got a video. My dad, this is old school when he bought the camcorder, right? So he would have camcorders at my games. This is my first game. Nobody really knows. I switched my number. I wore number 1 that year. And the parents at the games didn't know who I was just because I'm a year older than most of those kids. And I hadn't played all year. So I still had the video where I think I had an interception that game. I had a couple big hits. And somebody was on the camera talking about who's number 1. And somebody was like, Cole Rain. I'm like, nah. Who's number 1 on the field? And my pops proudly like, that's Kyron Richardson. Like, you just that proud voice. But I say all this to say, I balled out that game, balled out the second game. And you know how it is, man. You feel like you get old with the world. Like, y'all, what I'm still doing down here? Like, well, y'all ready to call me up? In my mind, I'm like, y'all can at least call me up for special teams. I'm not supposed to be down here with them. And you got your ego and your pride, like all my boys up here, one of those things. And I also reached a point in life where I'm like, I'm not going to the league. Like, I'm not going to the league. Like, you know, I'm probably not going to go D1. Like, you know, if I got a scholarship, it's going to be a small school. I'd already determined if I go to college, I'm going to a college. I'm not going to some 2,500 student college. I want to have the full experience. So I started saying in my brain, like, you know, I'm 16 at this point. I want to get my license. I want to start making some money. I'm done with this football shit, right? And our school was really big for football. Like, we won state championship my senior year. Like, huge football school in Cincinnati, in Ohio, should I say. So I remember talking to my pops the night before and saying, yeah, I think I'm done, man. I think I'm done. And my pops was really one of those finish what you start type people. Because, like, you know, it's your life, you know, do what you got to do. And I remember he came to pick me up from school that day. And I was in the car and we was driving. Like, we were still on the campus. He was like, so how'd it go when you told coach? I'm like, I ain't tell coach. I just ain't show up. Slammed the brakes in the parking lot of the school. Drove to the football field. Like, nah, get out this car. You're going to look that man in his eyes. You're going to tell him you're not playing football no more. You're going to tell him why, all of that. Like, he made sure, like, as a man, you got to look another man in the eye. If you're not going to honor your commitment, you at least be man enough to tell him why you're not doing it and have that conversation face to face. And at 16, I didn't really understand it. But a few years later, it hit me. And I'm like, man, I'm so thankful for that moment because now it helped me have uncomfortable conversations. I don't look at uncomfortable conversations as a disappointment. I just look at it as a conversation. Like, this is just what it is. Like, I'm not going to apologize for how I feel. And that's what he was teaching me. If this is how you feel, go ahead. But you got to make sure you hold yourself responsible to the people that entrusted in you and the people that you said you was going to do something for. So don't just run and hide from your problem. Like, look it in the face and tell it what it is. Like, that's one of those moments I always appreciate. And that's what I think about when I think about my pops. And on the flip side of that, I remember during basketball season, one of the coaches was up there playing. And I remember my pops coming into school, like, ready to tear the school up about his son. So it's one of those both sides. Like, yeah, I'm going to make you do the man thing, but I also got your back. Like, nobody going to play with you, none of that stuff. So those are, like, when we talked about lessons, I always think back to that moment because he didn't yell about it. He wasn't like, I can't believe you didn't do this. He was like, you know better than this, but I really want to make sure you understand what's going on right now. Like, go ahead and do that. And that was just, I walked literally in the middle of practice and look coach and I like, what you doing? Like, he's looking at me like, what you doing? Why you ain't dressed? And I told him right then and there. And that was the end of it. We had another conversation the next day because he wanted to meet with me, but yeah.
That's the interesting part. And why I was so excited when David, and we have talked about this on book 1. So if y'all have heard this before, it's repetitive, but it's also good, I think, to add to the context of the conversation in the sense of when David broached this idea and we were talking about it, this is one of the things that made me so excited about having it, because I'm listening to you, Rich. We had a similar experience, but a similar scenario, but a completely different experience. Like I did the same thing. Like senior year, I'm realizing, man, bro, listen, I played football. I played football from age 7 to 17. My junior year.
Literally same.
I played all the way through my junior year.
7 to 17. Just for those keeping those keeping score at home about the Spike and Rich similarities. I played football from 7 to junior year.
It's always been a thing that I've done. It helped me because I didn't have a relationship with other males. That's the main thing that helped me. Being in locker rooms, being on team buses, being accountable, all the stuff that you do in practice or whatever. It helped me tremendously. But I'm like, Rich, I get to the 12th grade and I'm like, bro, I'm not going to college to play football. Like I'm wasting hours of my week doing like what? Like listening to this. Like I'm not listening to you yelling at me. Like I said, y'all talked about I'm feeling myself at this point. It's like bro, like y'all not gonna talk to me like this. I'm not gonna do these drills. I'm not doing any of that. And a lot of that comes from not having a father at home to be like holding you accountable to do hard stuff, right? So I'm really feeling myself, and I'm like, bro, I ain't doing this no more. I quit. Senior year, I think it was maybe the second game, and my experience being different from Rich's was there was no father picking me up from practice or anything like that. Like when I quit, I took the bus home. I went to work the next day and told him I can work more hours. And I'm now on the schedule at my job for more hours. It didn't even come up in conversation with my mom till a couple of weeks later. She's like, you don't play football no more? You know what I'm saying? That's how it was for me in the sense of like, I'm just out here, you living with whatever decisions you make. I will walk past the football coach in the hallway. Mind you, I've been playing for 3 years. We wouldn't even speak or look at each other. Like it's like, okay, that's over for this part of my life. But it goes a lot to, like, as you were explaining it, Rich, it helps me understand even more how it was for me coming up in my perception of relationships and having to explain myself to other men or doing these things. It just didn't feel important to me. It just felt like, okay, that's something I ain't doing no more. I don't care what y'all do on the football field. Our relationship from football coach to player really didn't mean that much to me. So like it's nothing. I ain't got to explain myself to you because who are you? You mean nothing to me outside of the sense of like I ain't playing football no more. So what can you do for me? And that was my relationship with men in general. Like it was like, I was like, bro, I'm not explaining myself to nobody. Like, because you can't do anything for me. There's never been anyone like you that did anything for me. If it's my mom, yeah, I need to have an explanation. If it's somebody like my grandma, I need to have an explanation. But for another man coming to be like, well, why you do this? Like, because I wanted to.
Right.
And you two have dads, and I know y'all think that's in because I'm hearing y'all talking. Y'all thinking like that's crazy. Like, dude, yeah. But that was my answer to a lot of stuff coming up is like because I wanted to, and who gonna tell me not to?
Go ahead, Rich. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say I know one thing that mostly everybody knows about Spike Lewis is I don't want to say disdain for authority, but it's not so friendly a relationship with authority, and it sounds like some of that probably came from that because you didn't really have anybody. If you didn't have to answer to your mom or the people that were really taking care of you, then why the hell do I have to answer to you? Like, why are you questioning me?
I did have to answer to them. I want to be clear.
That's what I'm saying. But those are the people. I did say that wrong. My apologies. These are only people doing something for me. So these are the only people that I have to answer to. You're not doing anything for me. So who are you? You know, whether it's Joe Clark or whoever else, football coach, whoever else is in there. Like, I don't care what kind of prominence you bring as a male figure. You ain't done shit for me. What was it like to? Was there anybody you can think of that got close or you really trusted in a sense? I know you mentioned how you don't really trust men, but was there anybody that, like maybe a teacher or somebody like, man, I kind of rock with them more than I do the average male figure?
No, because it was so foreign to me. I'd never even, like what you was just explaining to yourself, like being in the house and not wanting to disappoint your dad. I've heard Dave just say it. That idea was so foreign to me that I didn't even look at male figures like that. it didn't even make sense to me because mine, the one that was supposed to be there for me, wasn't around, like wasn't calling and checking in or wasn't showing up at games, anything like that. And I had seen it happen for other men, other kids in my life. Like they, even though their dads and moms weren't together, they may pop up to a football game that we had, or they may be around in some sense or fashion. But for me, it was like that don't even register in my mind. I can't even look at you like it because I have no. It's like the example that you and I have, Rich, when we went to go see the movie with The Rock.
Yeah.
What's the name? The Smashing Machine.
Smashing Machine. Yeah.
And when they asked him, and he was like, "What's going to happen if you lose?" And he was like, "Lose? Like, why would you ask me that? I've never lost in my life. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
So I compare that to the answer that I would have for you when you say, "Did you have that? Did you see this?" Like, huh? I don't even know what that is. Like that don't even register to me because I'd never seen it. I didn't even understand it until I got around Dave and seeing their family dynamic. Because again, not only for me, for my friends, like when we were growing up, there wasn't no dads around. Like y'all were saying things like when you just said, Rich, is like, I don't want to let my dad down. We were coming up. It's like, I don't want to let my friend down.
Yeah.
That's how naive we were. And that's how immersed in each other's lives that we were with no other adult men around. All of us just figuring shit out as teenagers, being wrong, and the advice that we giving each other, saying the stupidest shit in the world. Now that I'm looking back at it at this age and being like, yeah, man, that's the right answer. Like it was peer groups. Like everybody that I was around, as far as a male aspect, they were maybe 3 to 4 years older than me or 2 to 3 years younger than me. It was all parallel. There was no, like, listening to you guys talk, there was no like, I can't let my dad down. It was like, oh man, what my friends gonna think. Like after, of course, what your mom gonna think and the people that are taking care of you gonna think, but it was never in the sense of when I'm talking about the male aspect of it, it's like, I don't give a fuck what you think. If you ain't like directly associated with me, I don't care. So
I got a question. I want to, Dave. I know you had something, but I have you can go ahead and go because I won't remember this. I won't forget this.
No, I was just listening. You know, it's interesting because, you know, as I get to know Spike, so much about who he is developed in that, you know, arena where he had to figure it out, right? And I think it's what makes him special too. You know, it's unfortunate that he didn't have his father. But it also is a resiliency that he has, I think, that, you know, that's different than others. Like, for me, my dad, like, literally, his name hits my phone, and there's still a feeling of an adolescent that I'm like, it's my dad. Like, you know, I'm almost 60 years old, and I still have that same feeling of, I hope this is good and positive. I hope he's not mad at me, you know, blah, 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 because it's that little pit in my stomach every time. Like, and then when I find out he's good, it's like, all right, he's good. There's nothing I did or I forgot to do or whatever. And because he still scares me. Like, there's still a part of him.
It's that dad thing. I get it.
Yeah. It's hard to explain, right? And it's funny, like, my grandchild was here and you know, she was having some issues in school, listening to the teachers. So her mother asked me to talk to her. So I'm having a conversation with her, and my wife is like sitting off to the side and just is like loving, like, and starts videoing me talking to my granddaughter, and then sends it to my sons. And my son's like, "Oh, that's triggering," right? And so the thought of, you know, how he related, like, I was like, "Look, let me tell you something." I told her, I got time. Your mom and daddy don't have time. They got to go to work every day. But if you either going to get it together or I'm going to be up at that school myself, right? Because for me, you know, there was always, the teacher was always right in my family. It was like, really, like, if the teacher said you did it, you did it. It was like, right, you had to be the one figure out how to manage the teacher, not the teacher figure out how to manage you. So it was, that was always the rule pretty much. And I think it was a good lesson, you know, that, you know, not making excuses. Like you said, I quit football in 10th grade, right?
Yeah.
And And my dad loved football. He played football, high school football. I could have played college. He just decided not to. But and I ran track as well. Won a state championship in track, right?
Yeah.
And he just never came to a track meet. He loved football. When I quit playing football, he just didn't really come to anything.
Yeah.
And then I won the state without him being there. And I remember how that bothered me, how bad that bothered me. Yeah.
What was it like when you got home?
I mean, because I wanted him to be proud. Like, that's what you yearn for. You want, to win that, to cross the line, to win. You want to look over, and that's the person you're looking for, right? That's as a son. That's the first eyes you're looking for is your dad. If you ever, you play football, like when you turn in that stand, you're looking for that approval from that one.
Yeah,
person.
That's that fatherly thing that I was talking about. Like, I remember basketball games and like just that feeling of I don't want to mess up because I don't want my dad. Like, I knew he didn't really. I'm not gonna say he didn't care, but it wasn't gonna be. He wasn't one of those coaching from the sidelines. He just wanted to make sure I was doing my best, and on top of it, I was locked in. But I was always thinking about, dang, there's a turnover, man. Look up at your dad. Such and such. You miss a tackle. Dang, you looking up at your dad. Just out of habit, I guess. I don't know. It's odd.
Well, that's just the person that you most care approves of what you do. Really. Let's just be honest. On earth, the one person you care that most approves of you is your father. If he's heavy in your life, and your father, as a father is the only man in your life who truly wants you to be better than him. Right. Most men, I mean, truly, he truly wants you to achieve more than he ever achieved. And like I was saying, when even how my dad calls me boss man now, right? He never called me that, right? And ever since, now he brings his friends. He comes by he's showing my business pictures, he's constantly talking about it, it's the greatest thing on earth because I figured out how to do what he never could and what I talked about all my childhood. And I think he just looks at that as wow, you really are doing it. You really don't have to be there every day for your business to run. Yeah.
I got a question for you, Dave, and I'm gonna get back. I got two questions for you, Spike. But Dad, I got a question. You have 4 kids.
Yes.
And I don't know if your siblings have children as well, which means that your dad is a grandfather.
Yes.
Is he a different grandfather than he is a dad, or is he still him?
1,000,000% yes. I can answer that one. Yes.
So, yes. It's not even close.
Yes.
Right? So
they got him wrapped around their finger,
my
bro.
God.
Oh, wow.
So funny story about what I opened up with, the $2,600 story, right? That I got that my son called him first. My dad has always told my children, I'm your lawyer. You call me. Don't worry about it. Get me on the phone. I'll make sure your daddy do it or get it done, no matter whatever it is, right? So that's how it's always been. He's always been with his grandchildren. No. You need it? Call me. I got you. Don't worry about them. And my dad called me, and he's like, your son just called. This is when I was on the golf course. He called me. This was that conversation. He's like, your son just called me. He's trying to do XYZ, sell a house, and he needs a little bit more money, right? He needs it by tomorrow. And that's the thing. It's always with kids by tomorrow. It's never I need it in a month.
They ain't never let you know.
It's
all of a sudden there's a crisis on hand.
Exactly. Because they are doing the same thing that we are at they don't want to disappoint. You're the last straw. And when they call you, because they don't want you to have to get involved, right? And because they only want you to be proud. They don't never. And what they don't realize is it's you don't see it that way, right? The way that they feel that you're disappointed, or they feel, but you recognize that life is about these things. You're going to have these moments in your life where you run into these blocks, and there's nothing more valuable in my life than when I hit those blocks than having a father. Nothing. Not even close, right? When I had those, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. I have no other answers. And that's the one person that I pick up the phone and I say, hey, man, I'm here, and he's never failed. Never. So, I kin it to, your relationship that you have, the Father, when you talk about your spiritual relationship and your relationship with God, it's kind of that same thing. Like, they may not always do it on your terms or how you want it. They may not talk to you the way you like them to talk to you. But they take care of you when you need them to take care of you at the end of the day. And that feeling, Spike, you know, I hate that you don't have that, right? That's the one thing about the whole experience that I wish you could feel. And you feel it with your mother, because I know your mother. And, you know, she's solid as, you know, there's no, you know, and it's really kind of what led me to have a relationship with Spike is Spike's mom. Like, there's, like, you know, I've gotten to know her because she's married to my dad. This is my dad's third wife, right? So I always say when he married her, you know, I'm like, this is his biggest for a third wife. I'm like, I'm not. I mean, I don't have time. Like, I'm raising children. I'm gonna be honest. That's why I was like, I don't have time to invest.
You carried it like that.
Definitely. Yeah, that's how it was. Right? And I'm trying to raise my own children. It's like, I got so much going on, right? But over the years, like, you know, I mean, need somebody to come to work, Lisa. Need somebody that, like, she was always a rock that was there and consistently in my dad. Like, you know, that was undeniable for me not to recognize that in his life. And that, you know, that's when I started to realize, damn, you know, Lisa has a son and it's Spike. And I don't even know. I'm like, I really realized I don't even know who the hell Spike was from up or down. Like, I didn't know. Is he in Atlanta? Where is he? I mean, you know, blah, blah, blah. Is he here? And that's when it was like, I felt like, you know, I need to get to know this brother. I got to know who he is. So, you know.
Yeah, no, I love that.
I agree 100%. Before you get into your two questions, I just want to respond to what he was saying real quick, Rich. It is really unfortunate, and I'm listening to y'all talk. I'm just like, damn, I wonder what that's like. Mm-hmm. Like in real time, being very vulnerable. Like I'm just wondering what that's like to have a man that you could look at that way, or have that trust in, or be that vulnerable with, depend on that much, because that's always been my mom for me. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing. Like to continue what David said, I'm blessed to be able to have a mom that is like she is, because just like y'all are saying with y'all dads, the only way and what explains my love for Black women so much is that there was never a point in time when she was like, I can't do this. You can't have this. You're not going to be able to experience this. Like I didn't need a dad to go to Disney World. I didn't need a dad to go on vacations. I didn't need a dad to have the latest shoes, all the flyest clothes, all of those things. She was like, I got you. Just don't go out here and be a complete fool. Don't go out here and embarrass me. Act like you got some sense, and everything that you want, you're going to have. And she's done that for me my whole life. And that's the only thing that compensates for listening to what you two said. Having a mother that's extraordinary as mine was. Like that, there wasn't going to be a point in time where I was going to go without. Like if she had to get another job or whatever it may be, she's going to do that to make sure I had whatever I wanted. The latest, the whatever I asked. You want the game system, you want a game, you want a TV in your room, you want a computer. I was the first of my friends to have a computer and internet. They thought that shit was crazy. She made sure that I had that shit. But my mom bought me encyclopedias when I was 9. It was like, no, like you need to know these and learn these, read them. Nigga, like when I put you on punishment, read this right here. So she's always been that anchor and that person, and I've loved it, and it was a great experience. But also listening to you guys talk about this, and which again, why I was excited when you brought this to us, Dave. Like, I'm just it's a great thing to hearing you guys talk about this, and it also is a bittersweet in the sense of listening to it. Like, damn, I've never experienced that. I have no idea what that's like.
Interesting. I get it.
And what's crazy is, you know, when you say you don't have it, you know, and I get it, because you do have it. You have it with your mom. I mean, it's not a father figure, but I've seen, I know how, you know, I've seen your mom like in action. Like she goes to work when it's time. Like there's no hesitation. If it's time to drop everything and let's go do it, that's what we do, right? Boom, let's go do it. And even with my children, like, I mean, she's as much their grandmother as any grandma, like, you know, as my mom. You know, I don't really, like, they don't view it any different. She's like that kind of grandmother as well. Like, you know, she goes hard in the paint. But I also think, you know, I know my dad, and when I say this, like, my dad and your mom have been together, and I don't know, but I know for a fact that if your mom needed something for you, that through my dad would do it, because you know what I mean? He understands what that means. He would never say nothing. He would never try to take credit for it. That's just not who he is. But I know his spirit, and I know if, you know, if that was ever a moment, you know, where he was like, 100%. I need this.
Agree with you.
He would be like, boom, just like that. Without even thinking about it, it never moved. Like my son, one of my sons got in major trouble on some real bullshit. And, you know, and my dad, like, you know, we needed a lawyer right away, 50 G's without blinking, not even never mentioned it to me, never said nothing else about it, never, boom, it's done. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, you know, in those moments in my life, I don't know where I would have been if I didn't have it. Like, I truly don't know what would have happened in those moments if he wasn't there. And, you know, and that's when I realized, you know, as tough as he is, that toughness was because he needed us to understand we had to have a level of toughness too at some point if you're going to survive this as a man. Like, you know, one thing I'm sure all of you know, and you know now, in the middle of this fight, you know, the strong survive, right? You gotta be tough to make it. And to the fathers out there who are raising their children, you know, and listening to this right now, like, you know, you mean the world to your kids. Like, understand they see you as Superman. It's like, it's really unbelievable. And all the fussing, and I remember raising my children, and that just, I never thought my sons listened to anything I said. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, my daughters were a completely different experience than my sons. You know, my daughters were, I don't even know if I ever raised my voice. Like, I don't know that I ever had, like, when you talk about black women, and that's kind of what, I mean, black women are like they just do their thing. They do their thing, and they get it done.
Yeah.
And they move, and they move in a way about their business. It's like, and I got two of them as children, and they do their thing, like both of them.
Yeah.
And my sons were, you know, always like, you know, in the resistance movement, we were always, you know, moving. They was trying to like, hey, no, you can't do it that way. You can't do it this way. Hey, and they were always kind of, you know, their testosterone, they want to fight and find their own way. And, you know, and it's when you get those phone calls and, you know, they're 24, 25, and they graduated. My son got his master's degree, and, you know, and he's like, dude, thank you. Like, I wouldn't have been like, you know, when he looked at me and was like, hey, you are a rock star in my life. And, you know, each one of my kids have kind of said that to me in different ways. And that moment is like, man, whatever I went through, whatever struggles it took to be a father was instantly worth it. I mean, and you realize that, and, you know, and even as an uncle, Rich, you know, you'll see that, you know, your niece or nephew, I'm not sure which one, but
niece,
you know, will eventually develop a relationship, because I had a special relationship with my uncle. And I don't even know if I could have survived my dad without my uncle, like, as a kid, because he was, you know, he didn't have any boys. He had only daughters. And me and my brother kind of became his quasi, you know, sons. And he was just a much different personality than my dad. And, you know, he was the one I could talk to about things that I didn't feel like I could talk to my dad. And so I had multiple men that were like that in my life. And it's just such a blessing. And, you know, I love that, you know, when you mention your niece, and, you know, that instant love that you have is the craziest thing. It's like, you know,
it's a crazy feeling.
It's no way to really explain it. It's like, wow, I love you.
Feeling.
I love you more than life, and I just met you 2 minutes ago. So it's like, what is going on? But go ahead. I know you have some stuff you want to bring up. Some, you know, let's hear.
I was thinking about this because, Spike Lou, when I asked you earlier, it was just about your dad, and you were explaining things, and you were just saying, hey, you know, there's no resentment, and, you know, we talk, you know, once a month, things of that nature. Why is there no resentment? Why? Like, and I'm not saying there should be, but I'm just asking you personally, like, why why do you look at it and say, you know what, it's all good? And I'm not saying, well, maybe I shouldn't say that you're saying that, but why do you not hold any resentment when you easily could? What is it about you that doesn't do that?
That's a good question, and because that won't do anything for me. I don't care that it was tough between you and my mom. I don't care that you may have got on drugs, went to jail, sold drugs. None of that matters to me. All I know is you weren't there, and that's cool. We processed that. I figured it out. I'm where I'm at to this date. My mom is superwoman. She held it down. Like I did need it listening to y'all. I needed a lot of that stuff that y'all are talking about, but it just wasn't available. So my personality and how I look at stuff is like, okay, so that didn't happen. And so what? I'm not going to hold it against you for the person that you are today. I look at him now because keep in mind, I have an older sister by him, like that he has, and she brings that up to him. Like I won't say they beef him, but she holds him a lot more accountable than I do. You weren't there for me, and you all these things. Like she different from me because he has 3 kids now. His wife is my age. Like he got a son going to the Navy. He got a daughter that's about to graduate from high school. He got another daughter that's I think she played basketball. Like they doing good. Like he found his stride at this age for his new family, and he's there for them. He live in their house. They do the thing.
That usually leads to more resentment. Like usually, but that's the
thing, and it's funny how my brain processes things. I don't care. It didn't happen for me, so what? I ain't judging him for it. I know how stuff is out here for people. It don't matter to me. If me and you can have a conversation, a real conversation and relationship, that's fine. If we can talk about the women's Final Four, if I can call you when I need you, when I feel like I can't call nobody else, and just pour out, because I did that a lot. Once I had that accident and called him that first time and we got close, there was a lot of times I called him and I was just trauma dumping on him because I didn't feel like I could talk to nobody else about it because I didn't want to disappoint my moms. To what y'all was saying. Like it wasn't conversations that I've had with him are conversations that I couldn't have with nobody else because it's twofold. One, I didn't care if he judged me because he's never been there and he can't judge me. But also, two, I felt close enough to him. He knows me. He got a slight investment in me. So he gonna give me the best advice that he think he can give me. But also, too, if he can't, excuse me, not if he can't, there's no way that I could say these things to him and him try to scold me or be disappointed in me because you let me down my whole life. So I can be possibly more free with you than I can be with anybody else on earth because you owe me that. So I've had those conversations with him and told him shit that I ain't never told nobody about how I was feeling about relationships, how I was feeling about people, how I was feeling about myself. And he listened and he's like, well, this is what I think. And I'm giving you my genuine feedback. And that goes to what you guys were talking about with having a relationship with your father. That's where he was able to step up and be a father. Was like, I've legit had conversations with him that I wouldn't have had with no one else. Just because almost not even trying to make him feel guilty, but I know he has to listen and can't judge me because I can always be like, well, I mean, nigga, it's your fault. You know what I'm saying? Like I could always be like that on some petty shit, but I'm not. And I can understand that he's happy that I don't. So I can be my most vulnerable at some points with him and just trauma dump and let him listen and really give me an honest feedback on what he thinks about it. Like those are some of the conversations that he and I have had. That was more so, that was a lot when I got down here and was trying to figure stuff out, thinking about moving to Atlanta. Like a lot of those conversations were early on before my making it down to Atlanta. But yeah, like we don't talk as much like that as we used to, but that as far as you asking why there's no resentment, he was there for me when I needed to have those conversations.
I'm sure there's empathy with your sister. Do you have sympathy when it comes to that? Because I'm sure you can understand. Well, what I'm saying is you don't understand why she feels the way she does about interesting. Like, so,
okay.
Well, in the sense of, here's what I mean. Let me break this down. Just make sure I'm very clear about what I'm asking. From the idea of, I feel like you left me hanging, and now I get to see you be the person that I would have loved to have in my life. Like, you got the family, you got the kids, you're active, and I didn't get that experience, even though you play the same role or have the same title to me as you do to them. Almost like, hey, why do you care more about them? I'm not saying this is what your sister feels, but some people will look at that and say, why do you care more about them? Or what is it about them versus me? Yep. Yeah, so I know, and I'm not saying you're supposed to feel this, but just hearing it from a, hey, do you understand why she has an issue? And if you do understand, do you care? Or do you sympathize? Like, oh man, I feel you. I just don't process it that way. Or is it, hey, like, these are the cards that we were dealt. Like, it just is what it is. You're not doing anything. And I'll tell you, well, I'm sorry, real quick. Let me tell you why I'm asking you this. A lot of people that I know, all right, this is more so about the dads who were in and out. Not necessarily the dads who were completely missing, but the dads that say, hey, I'm going to be there on Saturday at 7, be on the porch, and never showed up. A lot of the people that I know that experienced that, whether they knew it or not, or maybe they didn't find out till later in life, they held on to some sort of trauma that kind of impacted other relationships that they ended up having further in life. And stuff that they really had to sit down and talk to people and sort out. Sometimes it was stuff they didn't even know that impacted them in the way that it did. You're very like, hey, no harm, no foul. I get it. Well, I wouldn't have liked for it to happen this way, but it did happen this way and we can't change it. It seems like you avoided the whole, like, I'm really fucked up from this. So I'm just curious on how you look at it, like your sister or the examples I laid out, as far as how you process it, or do you feel anything for that type of feeling towards your dad? Like when other people have your sister does or something like that.
Right. So I haven't talked to her in a long time, but we did have a relationship before I left Nashville. And she's that type of person that will feel like that. But to me, I just don't, there is no, nothing comes from that. As far as me feeling resentment, I may as well have a relationship with him. I don't care what he could have did. What can he do now? Even if that's just having conversation with me. So it's never been, I've never been able to relate to the resentment, but I do understand it to the point that you said. I do definitely understand where she's coming from, because she's seeing 3 kids being raised in a home with a dad and a mom, and they're going through the things and doing all the stuff that happy families do. It's like, I'm supposed to have that, but you got to remember, her mom and my mom not the same mom. Like I've never, like I've never even thought about that. That in my household, maybe her household was different, but in my household, that was never like a thing. Me and your dad gonna be together and it's gonna be good. Like that may have been a thing in her household. She may have heard that. Like she may know things that I don't know because she's older than me. Like her mom may have been different with him versus how my mom was. My mom never treated it like that. So I was always able to process it in that nature. There was something else. What else did you say?
I was just kind of getting into, I was just getting into the whole, like, most people I know who miss their father or have that kind of feeling, they struggle with it. Like it impacts the relationship. It seems like you came out of that, for lack of better terms, unscathed. Like you didn't really have. No. And I don't know if that's credit to your mom, or do you? Yeah, go ahead, get into it.
It's not unscathed though. Like I still today have to. I text David this other week. Like he may text me on Sunday and be like, "Let's talk. Let's what I'm saying. Let's our normal weekly conversations." And me and him not talk for Wednesday. I feel guilty about that because I don't hold that in priority in the sense of I've never had that relationship with men before. Like what I'm saying. Like it's different to me. Like. The only relationship that I've had with men are my friends or my peers, like I'm saying. So there's only a certain amount of accountability that they can hold you to. And that's all I've been used to my whole life. I'm listening to you guys talk about letting my father down and think like that's never crossed my mind from a male standpoint. It's only crossed my mind from letting my grandmother down, let my mother down, let my cousin down, like my aunt down. Like it's never been how this man thinks of me. And from that, like you said, how it's affecting me, because it has. It ain't I shrugged it off and it's cool, like I'm dealing with it. I still deal with it today. Like I don't men like that. Like it took me and you are cool, Rich. I view you as my brother. David, same thing, but it took a long time for me to even get there. David just said it was 15, 20 years. We were around each other, and that was me being closed off. That may have been him living his life as well. However, that's never been a thing for me. If it wasn't my friends that I grew up with, I don't have to have a relationship with you. I have no accountability to you. I don't care about you as a man, and that goes to no man ever being in my life like that. It's never mattered to me. So I know me and you talked about this, Rich, and now that I'm talking this out in real time, when people like, I was having a conversation with about some content or whatever, maybe for podcasts, and I told Rich this and how I felt about it. Is like, I've been hearing the comment a lot lately. It's like, oh, well, Lou, you don't give a fuck. You are I don't give a fuck type of person. And now that we talking this out, it's not, I don't give a fuck. Like when it comes to me trying to make you feel comfortable as a man, or just having that conversation, or me letting you down or you letting me down, that don't matter to me because I've never experienced that. I don't know what that's like. I'm developing that with y'all too. I'm developing that with the people that I work with, but in the sense of a lot of people would have my personality and how I act as, oh, you don't give a fuck about anything. It's like, no, I just don't expect a lot out of you. Therefore, I'm not going to give that much out of myself. Like if this runs this course, is fine. Like I've thought about how to say this ever since me and you talked, Dave. Like I've been, I would say, abandoned in the sense of, like, from a male standpoint. Like it ain't no males in my life that really had to be there for me. So when I'm developing new friendships with people like you two, and y'all like, no, I care about you. I want you to succeed. Like, tell me how you're feeling. Like, I've never experienced that. Like, I've always had the sense of like, I don't got no real, like this person not going to be here. They not going to care. They not, like, it don't matter to them or me. It may have at one point, but it's ran its course, and like, whatever. Even though I've had friends for 20 or 30 years, it's still parallel friendships. And we look at each other like, that's just my person. He going to be that's just my boy. He going to be the way he going to be, whatever. But in the sense of, like y'all are talking about, and I'm hearing y'all explain having fathers and looking at a male in the sense of, I want to make sure I show up for this person. I want to make sure I'm not letting this person down. I want to make sure that when this person is talking, I'm listening. I ain't never experienced that. So I could get why a lot of people would think that I don't give a fuck. It ain't that. It's just like, I don't know how those relationships go. I'm a virgin in those areas. I don't know those type of relationships that y'all are talking about.
How does that make you feel? Well, real quick, how does that make you feel? Or does it, having people who are showing a vested interest in your well-being and your success, does that make you feel uncomfortable? Does that make you feel like, I figured as much?
No, it's new. And I'm trying to wrap my head around it and make myself believe that it's for real. I have no, like, it's not like, not saying against you two brothers or anybody that is. No. It's just, I don't know. I've never experienced this. This is brand new to me. So like, even wrapping my head around it and being like, is this real? Like, am I understanding this correctly? Like, because I don't know what, like, I ain't never seen this before. And I'm at this big age in my life where even how I like have conversations with my friends from back in the days now. Like, I always talk about Drew on this podcast, like he and I have much different conversations than we used to have. But that's just because mainly of you two and him listening to this and being like, oh, there's a deeper level of friendship that we could have as men because we can trust each other more. We can give each other guidance. We can speak out against each other more versus trying to impress each other, trying to look the best in each other's light. having a real genuine down to earth relationship with men like y'all are helping me build that. I've never experienced this before. Rich called me randomly on Monday and we talked for what 45 minutes to an hour on my way home, your way home.
50 minutes.
I don't do that because that's so foreign to me because there are no men like that in my life. I had to get used to doing it with Dave, and I realized how much that I appreciated it. I realized how much it meant to me just to listen to him talk and give me feedback on, oh, I've listened to you do this, and I think this, and I think that, and you can do this, and you can do that. And me having questions for him as well, it's just like, oh, this is what it's like to have somebody like male figures in your life. I've never experienced that.
That's a perfect segue into this next thing. Is for both of y'all. When do you think that moment was for each of you when it clicked between the two of you? Like, you've known each other for all this time, and I know you had, you know, I know the original story of, you know, Dave going to Spike saying, "Hey man, like I'm here for you. Like if you ever need anything, whatever the case is." Was that it? Was that the moment when you feel like, all right, then? Because it could have easily just been like, because I'm not gonna lie. Let me speak. I just want to say something real quick. I always wondered to myself how that would play out with me. Like if there was somebody that I knew, like I know who you are, you've been around for X amount of years, you're not a stranger, but you're not familiar. Like I always wonder, like, how would I approach that? Because I'd be like, why are you all right? Why today? Why today do you feel like, all right, man, I'm here for you? I think I'll be mature enough to go ahead and say, all right, then, bet I'm gonna take you up on it. But it's also funny in a sense because it's like, bro, I don't need any new, like you kind of men. I think I don't want to put all men in a bucket, but we've spoken about this before about the inability to, how odd it is if we went out, right? If we went out to a bar, whatever, get an after work drink, and there was another man at that bar, and it's like, hey, you seem cool. We should be friends. Let's exchange information. Most men will be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? Where women, on the other hand, that happens and they got a whole new friend. They going to dinner that same week. Like, you know what I mean? It's just so that's why I asked the question. And you said that was the moment. Is that true for both of you?
Well,
just that one offer?
I'm gonna go a little deeper because I think what it was when I called him, I really was emotional. Like I was vulnerable because it really hit me as a leader, as an older brother. I'm the oldest in my family, so I've always been the big brother, right? That, you know, and like I said, it came from his mom, my love for, you know, my developed love for his mom. Like, how can I love his mom? And this brother's been around me, and I've not even reached out. Like, I've never even reached the olive branch across the room and be like, hey, man, you want to come hang out over here with us? You want to do this? You want to be a part of what we got going on? It just kind of was. It's weird. It just, for years, it just kind of was what it was. And it was really, nobody really tried to shake any other side of it up. Yeah. And I think when I came to him, and then I think even after that moment, I was determined not to let it drop. Like, you know, if you know Lou, he's not really the most responsive a lot of times. So I refused to be like, I'm gonna let this drop. So I would text him, make sure always bam, bam, bam. Hey, let's talk, right? And I think he developed over time. He's like, okay, this is genuine. This is not pretentious. This is nothing, you know, but I just genuinely wanted a relationship with him as a, you know, and I started to see him like, that's my brother. That's not just like, he's in my family. Like this dude, like when we have family functions, we go on a family vacation, he's there. And he's always been there for the last 15, 20 years. And, you know, and part of my problem was I was raising kids myself. I mean, I'm not making excuses, but I was at that moment, I'm trying to get 4 young adults adjusted and become who they are going to become. So that was just my main focus, and not Spike, right? And when they kind of left, really, that's when I saw him more, because I think I wasn't really trying to so focus on them. You know, I could see more around me what was going on. And I think I was in a place in my life where I was asking God to put these things in my life too. So,
yeah. Makes complete sense.
I remember the day that It was a text. He texted me and he was like, give me a call when you get a chance. And then again, we weren't in constant communication. I was like, what Dave want? Like something wrong with my mom? Like what? Why is Dave texting me telling him give him a call? And I was at work and I felt like it was important. So I walked outside and I called him. And he went to what he just said. And he was emotional, which made me emotional. I think I might even shed a tear. Not even just to be completely transparent, because that's how emotional he was in the call, in the sense of you've been around this long, there's no excuse for me and you not having a relationship. Our parents have been married for 20 years. How do we not talk regularly? Like you're literally my brother. And I'd never thought about that. I never thought about that until he called me. And I thought about that for the next 2 weeks after he called me and said that. Because again, going back to the male thing in my life, I was like, well, what? I never processed it that way when he called and tell me. It always felt genuine. I was like, damn, this is what it's like to have like male older people in your family. Not friends, not nothing like that, but like family reaching out to you and being like, we dropping the ball on this. I know you, I know myself. There's a lot that could come from this relationship with each other. And that's essentially what he called me and said that day. And I never forgot it. Like it was so shocking to me. It was so out of left field. I didn't expect it, but also, like he said, it felt so genuine because he didn't let it go. He told me that day, he's like, let's make sure we talk on a weekly basis or a monthly basis at least. Let's do this. Let's do these things. Like, I want to get to know who you are. And for me, like, I've never heard that. I've never heard that from a male figure. Never in my life. So that's what made me emotional about it, even after the phone call that he probably didn't hear. And I'm like, damn, what was that? I've never even experienced that. What the, why? Why today? Why, like, out of it, like what? And I'm just dealing with so much. I was trying to process so much in the sense of what was this about, but I also knew too from being around him throughout those 20 years, like it wasn't nothing deceptive. I knew that about him because I know he's a good person. I knew it wasn't nothing like, well, let me wonder what's like, why he doing this? Is there something going on? Like I never thought that because it felt so genuine when he called and did it. And that day will always stick out to me in the sense of it made me consider more things in life. Genuinely, it made me consider like, don't be skeptical of men. Don't be like this because you ain't never had it, but just let's see where this goes. When he and I hung up, I was excited. I was like, okay, cool. This is something new. This is something different. Now we're finally getting into the stride of it with David being on the podcast, me and he and I talking a couple times a week for hours at a time. Like we're finally getting to the stride of that. That was maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But it was that phone call that made me like even get to this point. That phone call had a lot to do with another week in the books, me sharing with you, Rich, like just being as open. Like that phone call made me have to consider like, what is this like? Because I've never experienced it, and I went through my whole life not experiencing it and not caring if I did. But here's this person presenting it to me that I've seen in the distance. I know him, and he's presented to me like, no, come over here, let's do this. And it was enticing, and it's helped me so much. Like that phone call has helped me so much. I ain't never told you that day. Me and you have never had that conversation, but that phone call, you being vulnerable. And again, like he said, I heard him being emotional, which made me emotional. It wasn't a trying to play tough phone call. Hey man, call me. Like it was a, like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I dropped the ball.
On both of our parts.
Yeah. Like
he was very transparent about that. And I was like, what? I can't. What do you mean? Like I felt it, and I felt the same way, but I still, as from how I grew up and my relationships with males, is like, oh, this is fascinating to me. I thought about that shit for 2 weeks after.
That's like, I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. Like, that's a beautiful moment, because when I hear you talk about it, I told you this before, Spike, just from being a listener on book one, that I real time, before I even knew you, I heard the development of who you were.
Mhm.
And I start thinking about all these little small things that happen throughout time. Like, it never happens overnight. It's always little small gradual steps. And I know that the conversations that took place on book one helped you change how you look at things, change how you view relationships, things of nature. So I think of this story and I'm like, damn, I really just tip my hat to Dave, because I think one of the main reasons we wanted you on monthly is because not just you have a different perspective, because you've also led by example. Like, hearing the emotion, I wasn't there obviously, but hearing about how emotional that conversation was lets me know how much you cared.
Mhm.
And you've talked to about this in the past, about just why it was like that for you. Um, and why you felt the need that you stepped up. And I can also understand that feeling of letting someone down. Like, damn,
Mhm.
like, I really should have stepped up and done this a lot sooner. And I'm happy that you were able to see that in yourself and want to step up in that way. And Spike, I'm happy that you were able to receive it. You know what I mean? Because, like you said, this whole conversation, your mindset in your life pretty much has been like, bruh, like, who are you? I don't gotta impress you. I don't gotta talk to you. It could have easily turned into that. But something about it is like, oh shit, okay, this is new. Because as you said it, you answered the question before I had a chance to ask it. I was going to ask when this happened. You said a couple years ago, which means you were in your 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I know you early 40s.
So,
I'm not making a Spike Lee old joke. Spike Lee's early 40s. So if it happened 2 years ago, you know,
this
he's
was like
still.
this was what probably 3 years ago, Dave.
Maybe about 3 years ago. Yeah.
So like you
About 3
I
years
don't
ago.
remember
late 30s,
exactly,
40.
but I just
Yeah.
remember, you know, I've constantly was seeking to become who God wants me to be. Right. And I would ask him, and he just out of nowhere, Spike's face just came to me. I mean, it was just weird. It was like, you've been having this brother. Like, God was like, hey, it's been right there next to you the whole time. And you ain't even, you've not even tried. And I saw like 15 years of our life, 20, whatever, 17, of the moments we've been in the same room and we not even had 2 minutes of conversation. Like, it's just, and I felt bad on my behalf. And it was so much because I know what I have with my own brothers, right? I know what I got with my sister. I know what my family dynamic is. And I'm like, why is he not why is he not more a part of that? And how can I be a little bit more to make sure he has that too? Like, he should be getting some of that.
Understood, man. I love it. And like I said, I love the fact. The point I was going to make was just the fact that you were that season or that into your life, where usually when you get to a certain point, it's just like, man, I'm not making room for anything new. So I think all of it is meant to be. All of it is intentional, and I think it's a great example of all it takes is reaching out your hand one time. Like, really, just like, you never know what's going to happen on the other side of it. You never know who needs it. Everyone needs it. Like, there's times when, I know, Spike Lee, you talking about all this, man. I don't know if I talk enough about the bond that has been built with someone like you, someone like Mo, and the people that I met in this space. Because just like anything, I hear athletes talk about this all the time. NBA players, they'll say, hey, man, I spend more time with my teammates than I do my family during the season and things like that. And I think about it like, man, as I'm trying to build something here and trying to like enhance my own skills, like, I spend a lot of times talking to y'all, more than maybe some of my own friends or things like that. And I'm like, yo, this is a dope ass feeling, because it's not like I'm just doing this because I want to do it. I'm clocking in, I'm clocking out. Like, now I genuinely enjoy talking to y'all. And I genuinely, like, when we had our talk, man, it wasn't when we first started talking on the phone, whenever me and you first, we probably didn't even get on the phone until I became a host on Another Week in the Books. I think both of us would probably say there wasn't a need to, like, talk to you during a podcast, and I'm not about to talk to you. We both had that similar personality.
What we got to talk about, right?
And then when we did start having conversation, it was game plan. Like, it was like, all right, what's going on? What we gonna do this week? Blah, blah, blah. And then it hit the conversation of like, oh, what's going on with you? Like, good? You feel all right? You know what I'm saying? How's life going? I know you got this going on, the whole nine. And then, like I said at the beginning of this episode, we reached that. Oh, okay. Spike really my nigga because this nigga on bullshit. Like I don't even and that whole thing. So
no, that's to your point. Like even me sharing, like if it hadn't reached the point to as to where you were my nigga, I wouldn't even told you that I didn't check the YouTube stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like me and you have that connection now, and it's weird. Like even with Dave saying that, I was explaining to him when you come to Nashville, like. He was like, "This is the first time y'all met?" I was like, "Yeah," like, but we've been knowing each other for 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
So that conversation with Dave helped me to be more open to relationships like the ones that you and I have, the ones that me and Mo have, and just being understanding in the relationships that I do have as to like we can get something from each other. Not in a manipulative way, not in you using me, I'm using you, but just in the sense of your life experiences and my life experiences, and just having conversations and being genuinely interested in that person doing better. Like that's refreshing to me. Like I get that when I talk to Dave. I get that when I talk to you, Rich. I get that when I talk to Mo or Tro. Like just I've gotten to a point in my life where like I don't have conversations and talk to people where like I have to be fake for. That's not a thing for me anymore. I'm only having real conversations. Like every time me and Dave talk, you like, bro, like, so what's it like when you getting your spot out of the country? Like if you're gonna do podcasts and you're gonna do it for real, like you can make the money over there. They got Wi-Fi. Like I already got the thing in Belize, and like I always take it as motivation in the sense of like he's right. Like anytime me and you talk, Rich, yeah, we talk about personal stuff, but it's also me and you in this space. We're really good at it, and we see people who aren't as good as us make a living off this. How do we do that? Me and you are having those conversations, and it's in depth and it's thoughtful, and we appreciate what each other have to say about it. Like I'm glad to be at a place in my life where I have people where it's like I can have for real conversations about it, and they for real, I'm for real. It's not gossipy. It's not sports all the time. It's not TV. It's like I'm invested in you as a person. I ain't had that. Y'all were talking about that with y'all dads. My mom, yeah, of course, my mom's been invested in me as a person because like she wants me to do well, but from the male aspect of it and being like, no, I want you to do good. I ain't competing with you. I'm not here to spy on how you're doing things so I can do it and go do it better. I want you to genuinely be good because I'm good. Like these are new relationships for me.
Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
unbelievable. I mean, this is a great conversation, guys, and I certainly appreciate it.
This for 2 more hours.
Yeah, and I hope the audience, and I'm going to ask the audience. I mean, when we talk about how this, how does this grow? It grows through y'all. I mean, if whatever platforms you got, like, subscribe, watch. You go to a hotel, put it on in the hotel, so the algorithm in another city bounces around. If this is important to you, it's important that this continues to go and it continues to grow, and it'll only make us better if you continue to send comments and continue to tell us what's on your mind, because this journey is evolving. We're not there. We're just evolving every day. We're trying to figure it out every day, and you learn something different about yourself in every stage of life. That's why it's another chapter, and it's a great title because life is just it's chapters. It's rewriting the story. It's going in a different direction. I mean, even last week, Nick, right, was fascinating because picking up and just, hey, I'm going to go here. I'm going to do this, and that all of our things, just like when we buy that property. You guys doing this, everything is the boogeyman. It's what I would tell my children. It's what I tell my grandchildren. Once you get over the fear of the boogeyman is that thing you can't see, feel, taste, touch, smell, but you're scared to death of it. And you don't know how to get over that fear. And, it's just about getting up and doing it. And it also is important to have men, say, hey, man, I'm proud of you. You're doing good. And it's important for you to tell other men that you're proud of them and they're doing well. And, because you can't tell somebody when they're doing wrong if you never tell them when they're right. And I learned that, to develop relationships with people, you got to be able to let them know when they're doing well, or they'll never let you in enough to tell them, hey, you fucking up. You need to really watch yourself and check what's going on right now, because that's important too. Because you can look at so many, stories where men get lost, and you're like, man, how did they get so far out there? Like, what happened? And you got a circle around you that nobody can really talk to you and have a conversation.
Yeah, 100%. Dave, we appreciate you, man. I can't tell you, like, I know Spike said at the beginning, man. I'm really excited about at least having you on once a month. I'm sure there might even be moments where it might be more than once.
Listen.
Just to kind of build the conversation. But I appreciate having you on, and I love the fact even your first appearance as a first Friday, I know it's not first Friday, but it will be moving forward, is you brought the idea. And here we are 2 hours later. I mean, as like Spike Lee said, we probably could have done another 2.
Yeah.
So thank you, man. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, thank you guys. This is therapeutic, and it helps me, and I hope it helps anybody else out there.
Yeah. Spike Lee, man, I feel like I understand you even more now. I feel I always had a good understanding of who you were. I feel like that's even tenfold. Just talking to you, and even me asking some of the questions I asked you, is because a lot of stuff starting to make sense. And I'm like legit not just saying it because that's the kind of the theme of this episode. Man, I'm proud of the growth, man. I'm proud of who you are and like just where you made it, considering, like I said, I've seen it with my own 2 eyes of people who've been in the same situation, and it just doesn't work out the same way. Like, you know what I mean? You just kind of look at it. You can, I don't know how to really say this without just saying it, but there's some people you can look at, you can tell they didn't have a father in their life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell that they didn't have direction. And I know your mom played both roles, and she's Superwoman, but you also have as I said earlier, you also carry yourself a certain way to where you never were going to let that be a hindrance to you. And talking through it with you, now I understand where that comes from and how your mind works and things like that. But even the idea of you being open to building those relationships, even though you've been let down so many times and disappointed so many times, still have that in you to say, you know what, this is something I feel like I need, and I'm gonna open up to it, and I'm gonna put myself out there to even try it again. So both of y'all, man, I appreciate y'all. Bookworms, we appreciate y'all for listening. Phone numbers down there, y'all. Dave just said it, y'all. We got too many people that listen to us week in, week out for nobody to hit up the number. People not to be commenting. Send us your bookworm shirts. Sure. I still got more photos to post. Like, please let us know, because it's not just about us wanting to hear from you. It also helps us grow and reach other people and kind of build this community and build this space. We're thankful and we're proud of you, and we're thankful for having you, but we definitely want to grow as well. So help us out. Do what you can. Like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. That helps the algorithm.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. That's the best way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell a friend.
Word of mouth. Yep. Word of mouth. If you know, send it to your crew. I challenge all the bookworms out there. You all got a couple friends, a circle. Send it to your crew. Pick any episode you want. It can be book 1. It could be book 2. Just send an episode that resonated with you. Hey, man, listen to this podcast, man. I think these brothers are good. And like I said, that goes back to Mo on book 1. So help us out if you can. Other than that, we appreciate y'all. We're gonna see y'all next week for chapter 64. We out, y'all. Peace.